Hello, ingenious sewing professionals. Um, Funny enough, today that we're talking about time management and stress, since the topic has come up several times during the week, it's quite funny that just today I actually, thanks to Pauline who suggested it, managed to announce. Hi, Pauline. I managed to announce. Hello, Maja. Um, yes, I managed to announce the video before I went live, and I managed to do it not like at midnight because this afternoon I'm lucky and I don't have to be in the shop. So I really love that this topic has come up. I think it might give enough material for more than one Facebook Live because, yeah, in both areas, time management and stress, I mean, they are really closely related, also it seems, but they give enough material to go, hello, Maya, really, really deep. And so I have the suspicion that we're going to come back to this. Now, there's there's always two parts to a subject. There's the practical, like steps you can take, things you can do to make life easier. And then I find there's always a deeper layer. That's where the gold is. But, we're not always in the position to actually, to hear that. So I'm just going to put it out there. I've got my bunch of experiences with both of them. Time management used to be huge for me. Like, you'd meet me in the street and say, hey, how are you going? And my standard reply would be, oh, I wish the day had a few more hours. And the topic has become relevant again in the last, can't believe it's almost 7 months that I've been in my partner's shop with a schedule that I never would have thought I could hold onto, or I could actually pull through without going mad. Because, yeah, so that's basically a shop in the shopping center. He's got this mobile phone business and he's basically in and out of hospital. So that's like every day, 6 days a week, from 10 to 2 and from 5 to 9. So I do my coaching beforehand. Sometimes I do stuff in the tiny little lunch break I have. And I don't often have sessions and stuff like that at 10 or 11 at night. So the days are long, and I definitely get what it means to not have enough hours in the day and not have time. And it's an interesting thing, though, because I've been observing again, and I've been through this with crazy manic sewing season in June that used to be for me between February and June, when there was like loads and loads of dresses. And it really helped me see that there isn't a direct link between amount of work and stress levels. But we'll get to that in a second. Now, if there is a sense that we have more to do than we have time for, yeah, okay, it seems like, okay, it's time management. But when you have a closer look, it quickly becomes obvious that it's more often than not a problem of expectation, a problem of being able to say no, procrastination, prioritization, and all that in the end manifests. What? I'm just I'm trying to read comments like, what? Don't really make into studio. Sorry, Pauline, don't really get it. So this, like, one of, like, let me just have a quick walk through those, because every time there seems to be, there's like too many tasks. There's just like not enough hours of the day. So there's really a series of questions we need to ask. Okay, what on the list of things to do, first of all, deserves to be there to start with? And so what actually does need to be done at all? So that would, that might mean I don't know, leaving the dishes till later at night or till tomorrow. Who cares, right? So that's one thing. And I've spoken to enough people to who've said like, no, 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 but I really get anxious if I don't do the dishes. Okay, something to look into. Why, right? So now if something needs to get done, like for example, picking the kids up from school, like you can't really leave them there, then the next question is, does it need to be done now? And, or does it need to be done by you? And that's a big one. That's something that comes up quite a lot, especially for women, where there seems to be that perception, and it's often not even from partners or kids. They might be used to mum doing it all, but when you think about it, there's really often no rule that says it has to be done by you. I've spoken to a colleague a while back, and we're chatting, and we're in the middle of our thing there, and her daughter walks in, and so the daughter wanted something, and so there was this like, okay, now we have to finish up. I have to go and get my daughter this thing. And I'm like, she's 12, she could pop down the store and do the thing, right? So same with, okay, I need to get the washing out. Why? The other kid's 10. So a lot of the tasks that we are so used to, and I'm no exception, right? It's doing the shopping, feeding the dogs. There's so much stuff that I tend to just take on because I don't want to wait for him to do it, because that kind of winds me up, because then I get pissed off because he doesn't do it, so I just rather do it. But that's stuff that gets onto our list of things to do. And if that list is like at the limit, then it's time to have a look. Like, is that really stuff that needs to be done by me? And does it have to be done now? And so that's one thing to say, well, okay, what can I actually kick off the list of things to do, of my things of list, of list of things to do. Now, the other area is to look at is what can be done more efficiently. What tool, what system, okay, if shopping takes a lot of time, can I get the supermarket to deliver, right? If writing down stuff takes too long, is there an app or piece of software that does it for me? Are there ways that I can cut down the time some stuff takes? And the ever magical example of the rotary cutter, for cutting ruffles instead of with a scissor, which literally cuts 2 hours off every dress you make, if you make dresses with ruffles, obviously, right? But like that kind of like a tool that cuts off a lot of time, so that stuff does get faster. And so yeah, there is if you feel you kind of up here, then there is the it's okay, what do I actually have to do, and then how can I do it faster? So a few things to look at there. Now, the other area is, okay, what's the stress about? And it was funny because I looked in the dictionary, because I remember something like a definition that I've seen a while ago, and it was along those lines. And basically, I went into dictionary.com and it was like, okay, stress is a mental state of tension caused by demanding or adverse circumstances. And I'm like, I don't know, like, yeah, it seems to make sense, but to be honest, I want to actually challenge all of that, because it's worth having a look whether circumstances or the amount of work or all the other stuff that we've got going on can ever actually directly cause stress. And my claim is that they can't. That it's always only the thoughts we have about what that means and yeah, basically our thinking around it. And I remember there were, like, during my coach training, we did an exercise that was supposed to demonstrate it, and it took it really to the extreme. And so there was a list of events, things that happen in life, a wedding, not lovely things, beautiful things, a wedding and a holiday and winning the lottery and all these lovely things. And then there were basically horrible things on the other end, partner dying, um, I don't know, being disabled, being imprisoned, like basically everything, sort of worst stuff you can sort of imagine that could possibly happen in life. And so there was a list of like 40 things or something. And then in groups of 4, we were supposed to basically order those by level of severity. And the interesting thing was that nobody could ever agree on the sequence of stuff. Like I remember I was thinking, oh God, like going to prison, that would have to be like the worst thing in the world. But there was somebody in the group says, yeah, actually, I kind of, I got caught with some whatever when I was young and I spent 6 months in prison, wasn't such a big deal. So there was always the thing, and there was the bit, what we make of it. And I've seen that play out in my sewing business so many times that I just literally don't have any doubts anymore. Because I remember, and there's the horrible photos to prove it, where I looked like totally anorexic in 2012, with like 40 dresses on the stage that literally brought me to, to my knees. And the level of stress and the level of pressure I felt, there was just like limit, burnout limit, stuff that's all been, like really rock bottom kind of limit. And then you look at other photos like 3 years later or something, same sort of thing, end of course performance, not 40 dresses, but maybe 50 or 60. And I was cool as a cat. There was literally the same amount of work or more work. And it's coming back now where I'm thinking, God, I've never worked so many hours as I have been doing in those last few months. And stress level have been really, really low. And you can see how our own state of mind and mood changes, kind of a bit like the weather. There's days when, yeah, you're cruising through, and other days when it drives you mad. And that's just normal, and it has very little to do with what's going on around you and how much work there is. So there's no fixed connection between the amount of work and the stress we feel. Like the level of stress, what I can relate to and what I really sense is when we try and control something that cannot be controlled. Like if I want a steady stream of client orders, and I don't get those because I don't determine when somebody wants a skirt. They order the skirt when they want it. And that often happens that there's quite a bunch of them on all at once, and then there's another phase when nobody wants anything. And yeah, okay, that's just what happens. And you can try and sort of see and whether you can even it out, whether that's my dog snoring in the background. He thinks it's really boring. But so there are again a few things you can do, but no, you can't ever control it. And I think a lot of the stress and the pressure we can feel when we work for ourselves, and when it's like, okay, when's this next order coming in, or how am I gonna, keep on top of everything that I've got going on. Yeah, like you can run around in circles all you want, like you can try and manage and but you won't be able to control it all. And the moment you realize, well, no, stuff will happen that you won't know, and things will change, and the more at ease you are with that, the lower your stress level is. And the reason also we often find that we run, we try so hard to control things and to predict what's going to happen and to avoid uncertainty, because there's always that sense like, you know, better the devil I know. But that's when we're forgetting that actually when you really look at it, you're dealing with uncertainty and the unknown every single second. You never know what you're going to think a second from now, what's going to happen a second from now. So we actually more than equipped to deal with whatever is going to come our way. And there's no need to control the stuff you can't control. And when you stop trying to row and rather think, how can I set the sail? How can I set the sail and let the wind do the work rather than me, you know, try and push and try and make it all work my way? Life gets so much easier regardless of what's going on around you. So I just want to basically be a bit of a shit stirrer here and challenge common ways of looking at things. And if you think that was a whole lot of bullshit, you go for it. And if there's something that makes sense for you in there and you want to know more about it, let me know. I'm happy to chat. If you want to chat about your particular situation, you can hop on Zoom anytime. And so if there's any particular situation or any experience like Lisa, I'd love to hear you. Like, she's so organized. I'd love to. I'll see whether I can convince her to come on a call, on a live call, because she's been in that business for a long time and she is very organized. And I always admire how she does that. So I'd love to get her input, because her experience, I think everybody, we can all learn from her. So I'll put a bit of pressure on and see whether I can convince her to get on a call one day. So I'd love to hear what your experience is and what the biggest challenge is with time management and, keeping up with everything. So I'd love to hear from you. Talk to you again soon. Bye.